Do you have absolute nightmares when you get hold of this thing, the driver? You wake up in cold sweats. You're thinking about the worst possible thing that can happen. There can be tons of things that can go wrong when you use this driver. Could go miles left, could go miles right. You could stone cold top it. You could stone cold pop it straight up in the air, barely get it past the ladies' tee. You really struggle, mentally in particular, with your driver. Let's say you hit your irons really nicely, but for some reason this thing really you struggle with. Why is that? Before we start, don't forget to hit that link below to my website to get on the waiting list for lessons with myself here at Wiltby Park Golf Club. Now, a lot of you out there have the wrong impression in how to use the driver. For example, you've been told so many times that you've got to try and hit up on that golf ball, which is partially true, okay? We need to expand on that a little bit, because the problem is there's such thing as hitting too much up on that ball, okay? So 1-2 degrees up is fine, 7, 8, 9, 10 degrees is going to be a massive struggle for a lot of you out there. And the problem is what you do to get that ball up in the air, you try and feel like you hang back so much to try and help it up in the air, but the problem is you go so far behind that golf ball that the club just can't get itself down to the ground and down to the ball where it should be. So more than likely, if you're trying to hit up on that ball way too much, you're going to stone cold top it 80-90% of the time. You're going to block it out to the right most of the time. It's going to be a massive struggle for you to get any good contact. And likewise as well, I see a lot of you who try and really smash it out there, but the problem is you smash it using your upper body. You try and really get your bigger muscles of your upper body down into it. That's going to be pop-up city more than likely. That ball is going to come right out the roof of that golf club if you do that. Likewise, I've got so many of you who say, oh, I've got to rotate. Then you feel like you're spinning your shoulders and hips around and you slice the bejesus out of it as well. You might strike it well some of the time if you do that, but my word, you are going to slice the living daylights out of it. So all absolutely horrific golf shots, especially with the longest club in the bag, that we feel that we need to hit the best. So what do we do then? What's the best plan? So what I want you to try and feel here, we need to make sure to get a little bit more repeatability, to get away from those absolute nightmare golf shots. We've got to make sure that we've got some level of stability when we come into the golf ball and towards impact. What do I mean by that? What I want you to try and feel here, not trying to rotate necessarily our hips on the way through. We've got to make sure as we come into this golf ball here that we're what we call hitting into a solid left side. In other words, what I want you to try and feel here, just want you to take some little swings. And what I want you to do with just these nice, easy little swings is feel as you're coming into that golf ball, you feel your left leg is gently straightening. Okay, so you'll sense some what I call verticalness in that left side on that way through. Because what this does then is stabilize that left side of your body, allowing that club face to be squarer for longer, and at the same time ensure that your attack angle is a little bit more repeatable. So it's not too down, it's not too up, it's Goldilocks. So what I want you to try and feel here is that left leg just gently straightening. If I use this golf club just in front of my left leg here, you'll notice how on the way through, that left knee goes gently away from this shaft here. It doesn't go towards it, we're not going into it, we're going, if anything, gently away from it. There's your solid left side as you come into that golf ball. You'll notice the head is nice and stable and centered. And that gives us, again, the best chance of keeping that club face nice and square. So feel like that left side is just nice and straight on the way through, not flexed, not completely bent behind, just nice and straight on that way through without having to think about anything else, without having to think about rotating. It just happens. Without having to think that we're hitting up on that ball, it just happens. So we're just making sure that left side is nice and straight, nice and solid on that way through for much better and more consistent results with the chief of the pack.